Thank you. We have our second installment of a video presentation that Bob Higginson will come forward and introduce for us. Good morning, sir. I appreciate your efforts in doing this. I think any information that we're able to share with our residents and taxpayers on what the county, the different departments of the county are up to, I think it gives residents an opportunity to not only learn what's happening, but to see if any of our services that they weren't familiar with and how they could benefit them. So good morning. You are recognized.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Chair. Bob Higginson, Operations Manager for Martin County Television. We recently started a new video series we're calling Martin Works that is featuring the various departments within Martin County to hopefully share some of the stories, introduce the public to the faces and some of the programs, the faces of people that they might not see, the behind-the-scenes folks. Our first video last commission meeting was about the fire department, and we have got tremendous response from that on social media, on the Twitters, the Facebooks, and anecdotally, a lot of people have come and stopped us around the area and said how they really appreciate the video and that they think it's showing really good things. Today's video is very timely. The legislature is in session in Tallahassee, so why not feature our legislative coordinator? Hi, I'm Bob Higginson with Martin County Television. Welcome to our newest segment on MCTV we're calling Martin Works, the series where we take you behind the scenes of your local county government and introduce you to some of the faces and programs that make Martin County such a great place to live. There are many outward signs that you're living in paradise in Martin County. Pristine natural areas, world-class parks, just to name a couple. But what might not be so obvious is what you can't see. And that's the over 900 dedicated employees working for you to make Martin County work. Every year, the state and federal government dole out money to communities across the nation to fund a myriad of projects. But not all of those monies are guaranteed. Cities, states, and counties like Martin have to fight for their share. That fight happens on the House or Senate floor, in committee meetings, and in the bowels of Capitol buildings throughout the United States. For Martin County, that fight often takes place in Tallahassee, the state capital. And that is where you'll most likely find Martin County's legislative coordinator, Chloe Seuperger.
We have an incredible team of people both at the state level and the federal level. And what's awesome is that Martin County is small, but we are quite mighty in the fact that we have big issues because we have big projects.
Getting money for these big projects is the name of the game for Martin County's legislative coordinator, Chloe Seuperger.
So I get to be in Tallahassee for the 60 days of legislative session. You're working with the representatives, you're working with the senators to make sure that not only does the county have appropriations, so funding for our projects, but also to make sure that the policies that are put into place through this session are good for the county.
Without help from the state and federal government, Martin County would not be able to fund all the necessary improvement projects approved by the Board of County Commissioners. Her boots-on-the-ground approach gets her face-to-face with legislators and their staff so that Martin County doesn't get forgotten in Tallahassee.
Meetings, and more meetings. We meet with all of the staff and the actual legislators themselves, and we articulate our issues.
She says the role of legislators, aside from making policy, is that they are the budget keepers of the state, and that's important to remember.
They're budgeting our entire state for a year. So we need to make sure that in the draft process that Martin County's line item budget stays in there so that we can get our funding. So we go in there with very specific asks of monetary appropriations that we need to complete our projects.
These appropriations are then fought for by Martin County's legislative delegation that includes Senate President Joe Negron, Representatives Gail Harrell and Marilyn Magar on the state level, and Senators Marco Rubio, Bill Nelson, and Congressman Brian Mast on the federal level.
Making sure that those relationships are super strong.
And these relationships have paid off. Funding for the major C-44 reservoir project that will bring cleaner water into the estuary was hashed out over many meetings and hallway conversations. During the 2018 session, clean water has also been at the forefront for Martin County.
We have huge septic to sewer conversion projects. We're trying to clean up our waterways in a really responsible manner, and so we're asking the legislator to provide additional funding for those projects. And we also are working to save our coral reefs. So recently we passed one of the first bills through the legislative session that designates a portion of the coral reef that goes from Martin County all the way down into the Keys.
Also, the hot button issue of all aboard Florida trains potentially coming through our area has been a focus.
We have gotten the legislators to agree to put some money into the budget for a study through a third-party entity that will ensure the proper safety measures are taken regarding the railroad crossings, any sort of fencing we may need, so that we can know specifically how to keep our citizens safe.
Well, that's it for this segment. We hope you learned a little bit about how Martin County works. Be sure to visit us on Facebook to see more stories like this and to stay connected with county happenings. We'll be featuring more Martin County departments very soon, showing you how Martin works. For Martin County Television, I'm Bob Hoganson.
Very nicely done. How does it feel? You sit there and watch yourself.
Very strange.
Yeah. She's doing a great job. She's one of our newer employees, but she is up there doing an excellent job. She's very well regarded. I've spoken to some of our representatives, and they've told us that, we've been very fortunate, from Kate Parmalee to Devin to Chloe. We've done well with, a small county considering some of the giants, and I think basically a delegation, at least a full-time employee of one. So she does a great job, and thank you for doing this. Can you give us a hint of what's the next one coming?
Oh, I don't want to ruin it for you guys.
Oh, we're on the edge of
With
our
a
seat.
surprise.
Okay. Thank you for that, and I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, and we appreciate all your support as well.
We'll take the